Thank you, Urs. Thank you for this long introduction. It's a great pleasure to be here. Dear family members, friends, staff, faculty, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the commencement ceremony for the class of 2023 of our GEMBA participants. I want also to welcome our commencement speaker, Veronita Josephine. She's the CEO of Air Asia Indonesia and has an amazing story and a spectacular career. She told me that if you get stranded in Bali, I know you're going there, she will help. So that's coming from her. I also think that this is a very special moment for us because Urs and I have been doing this for 10 years, so you're the 10th class that we will be awarding diplomas today. For me, it's also the last GEMBA graduation. Also, I think it is a very special class because we decided to loan to you our Associate Dean of Advancement, Nida Januškis. You had... I'm sure that you experienced her energy, but you know what the Associate Dean of Advancement does. So be prepared to be the most active class in our alumni community. Now, today, also, of course, I want to welcome all of you to this ceremony. It's a milestone, it's a very special moment, but I want to say that today is the beginning, and it's not the end of your relationship with INSEAD. Because you are INSEAD of the future. So before I go and wish you all the best going forward, I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about INSEAD. So for the benefit of your relatives here who do not know that much about INSEAD, what is INSEAD? Who are we? INSEAD was founded in 1957 and started in 1959 in Fontainebleau, actually in the Chateau of Fontainebleau. But the more interesting fact is that it was founded by Professor Georges Doriot, who was a professor at Harvard Business School, with a very interesting vision at the time. Georges Doriot wanted not only to bring management education to Europe, but he also wanted to get together people from Germany, France, Italy, UK, countries that were fighting with each other every 10, 20 years in the past, and to build a business school that will promote peace and prosperity. From day one, INSEAD was not only about management education, but it was about understanding, tolerance, with the belief that if we work together, the likelihood of these bloody wars that we had witnessed in Europe in the past will be gone. Now, from day one, we had a very special mission, and today we uphold our mission again. We are a driven mission school. For us, peace and prosperity is at the core. The school started with 53 MBA students, and today we are one of the largest MBA and EMBA schools in the world. We have been ranked by many external ranking agencies in top places over the past years. But more interestingly, we have managed to create something that is truly unique by bringing people from all over the world and creating a classroom where there is no dominant culture. We opened a campus here in Singapore in 2000, becoming the first business school with a truly global footprint. In 2007, we opened our campus in Abu Dhabi, and we opened a learning hub in San Francisco in 2020. So INSEAD is a global school. From day one, as I said, we believe that we have to do more than just teach management education, and I think that we have been successful, but we need to do much more than what we have done so far. When I started in 2013 as Dean of INSEAD, things like climate change, sustainability, and economic inequality were not on the pages of newspapers as they are right now. And yet the world was facing already a lot of challenges. Challenges related to environmental and climate change, challenges related today to the war in Ukraine, social cohesion, populism, inequality, challenges coming from the implications of the new technology for the future of work. So to understand these challenges, actually it will be useful to go back in time and think a little bit what we are facing today. When you think about the history of our humankind, In the last 2,000 years, for the first 18 centuries, not much changed. The average person in 2,000 years ago enjoyed basic consumption with basic food, shelter, clothing, and not much more. For centuries, life expectancy was stuck between 30 and 40 years. By 1800, there were minimal changes in the average incomes, and 9 out of the 10 people on this planet lived in extreme poverty. And then, today, we know that life expectancy in developed countries is between 70, 80, and even above 80 years. Incomes have increased 15 times since 1820, and before that, very little increase. So when we think about this transformation that we have witnessed in the last 200 years, it's absolutely magical. The phones, computers, cars, airplanes, all this happened in the last 200 years. We are fascinated by these technologies and the ascent of the human race, but in this fascination we forget something very important, and that is there were unintended consequences of this economic growth. When I teach my classes in macroeconomics, I talk only about the success in the last 200 years, but we know today very well that environmental damage is pervasive, and more importantly, the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century created new conditions and problems that none of the existing social, economic, and political models could deal with. As a result of this economic progress and the inability of the political system to deal with it, we created, or the humans created, liberal democracies, but also communism and fascism. In the 19th century, the British Army fought in 34 wars. In 1848, Marx and Engels wrote the Communist Manifesto, which paved the way for very repressive regimes in Europe. 20th century, 2 world wars and the Cold War and so on. So today, when we look at the artificial intelligence and all this magic and promise coming from technology, we should not forget the implications of the industrial revolutions on the society in general. Let me quote one of the greatest minds of our times, Yuval Harari, from his third book, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. The challenges posed to humankind in the 21st century by infotech and biotech is arguably much bigger than the challenge posed in the previous era by steam engines, electricity, and railroads. We cannot afford failed models. If you start thinking about the implications of artificial intelligence, machine learning, all these new technologies, you realize that we have to not only deal with what happened in the past and with all the problems we're facing today, but we have to preempt things that may happen in the future in order to avoid the calamities that we have witnessed in the 19th and the 20th century. So the future of the world will depend on you. At INSEAD, we're trying to think about this, and we have created the statement, the vision, based on the idea that business must be a force for good. Business as a force for good means two things. First, we should never forget that business creation, business operations do generate jobs and lift people out of poverty. In China, in 1980, there were 840 million people in extreme poverty line, below the extreme poverty line. Today, extreme poverty in China is eradicated. If you look at overall at the world, 1.5 billion people have been lifted out of poverty. It's unprecedented. At no point in the history of the world we have witnessed anything like this. So how did this happen? How did actually all this poverty get eradicated? And the answer is only one. It happened because of economic growth, not because of subsidies, not because of philanthropic giving, not because of World Bank giving developmental aid. So today, we have to realize that business creation is an important component of increasing economic welfare. But there is a second component that we should not forget. How in the process of value creation for your company, you create value for the society and for the environment. Today, we see so many companies struggling with this, trying to deal with sustainability, with ESG, SDGs, and all the other abbreviations, because we have not built yet the frameworks of thinking about this. So we have to do this together. But we have to do it because otherwise we will witness the same bloody, aggressive social unrest that we have seen in the past. And the important thing to remember is that a lot of things that we take for granted today, the way that we do business, the way that we take for granted, are simply social norms that we have accepted to be given from above, but they are not. So we have to reimagine the reality in which we live in and create the new norms. So what is the normal that is changing, that we need to change? We, the society, want business leaders who not only create phenomenally successful companies, but also we want ones who, in the process of value creation, maximize their positive social impact. And we know that change is coming. There is an urgency to act today, and I wish that all of you contribute to this change and rethink our economic models. So when I say I wish you, I don't mean an abstract you, actually, I mean the graduating class of 2023. So you're joining now our community, 60,000+ alumni all over the world. You'll hear from Veronica her story. I hope that you'll have also your inspiring stories going forward. But as you join this community, I ask you to recognize the uniqueness of our school and of our values. If INSEAD is the business school for the world, I must ask each one of you to determine how will you make INSEAD your own? How will you contribute to the mission of the school to make business a force for good? We are a different business school, mission-driven, strong values. We want the world to admire you. Your success is our success, but we want the world to admire you not only for the amazing companies you're creating or leading, but also for what you have done for broader society and the environment. In other ways, we want the world to admire you, what you do for future generations. Today is the beginning and not the end of your INSEAD journey. I'm asking you to become true ambassadors for INSEAD and for all that we represent in this world. So, final words, let us continue to champion diversity, because diversity is the key to strengthening individuals, businesses, institutions, and society. Let us promote peace and prosperity for every individual, community, and country in the world. We are proud that you decided to do your executive MBA at INSEAD, and I have no doubt that the EMBA class of 2023 will change the world for the better and contribute to the prominence of our alumni and our school. The world is facing incredible challenges. You acquired the knowledge, the tools, the skills to turn these challenges into opportunities. There is no doubt that you'll be facing uphill battles, but you have to win because you are INSEAD. You're not only alumni now, you are our partners in this magical journey called INSEAD. Congratulations, thank you, and good luck. Amazing Executive MBA of 2023. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ilian. And it's now my honor to introduce your distinguished alumni speaker, Veronica Josephine GEMBA23. Veronica is CEO of AirAsia Indonesia, the first and only female professional airline CEO in Indonesia, and one of very few female airline CEOs in Asia Pacific. She led AirAsia's expansion in Indonesia, which translated into the company's double-digit growth in 2019. She also successfully led the company through the COVID-19 challenges in 2020 and is currently driving a successful turnaround post-pandemic. She's also driving the company's digital transformation as a one-stop travel and lifestyle platform. Before taking the CEO Air Asia Indonesia role, she spent more than 18 years in consumer goods businesses with extensive experience in emerging market growth strategy. She was previously sales director at Kraft Heinz Indonesia and was sales and supply chain director at Danone Indonesia. Passionate about diversity and inclusion in the workplace, Veronita was recognized by UN Women in New York in 2016 for her work in gender equality and women's empowerment globally, and received the Aerotime Aviation Achievement Award in 2021 for her dedication to lead the airline through the pandemic and promote equality across the industry. Veronita is a mother of 2 children, holds a bachelor degree in industrial engineering from ITB Indonesia, and is a GEMBA23 graduate from INSEAD. Welcome back, Veronita!